LA night of drunkenness left Evie Jiang with a pregnant girl. By the time I found out, the girl was already 6 months along. He said, "Keep the child, and we'll be as good as new." I shook my head and persistently asked him, "Who would you choose, me or this child?" That day, he remained silent for a long time, unable to give me an answer. Yet after I disappeared, he regretted it. After 5 years of marriage to Levi Jiang, I never imagined we would end this way. At the hospital entrance, Levi Jiang carefully assisted a young and beautiful girl down the steps. I stood not far away, locking eyes with Levi Jiang, whose face was full of tenderness. His gaze faltered, and he awkwardly avoided my line of sight. The pregnant girl beside him also looked over at me, her eyes instantly welling up with tears. After safely helping the girl into the car and carefully giving her a few instructions, Levi Jiang finally walked toward me. His steps were calm and composed, completely devoid of the panic he had shown when I caught him off guard. First, he took my ice-cold hands and cupped them tightly in his palms. "Why did you come to the hospital? Are you feeling unwell?" He spoke words of concern, reaching out to touch my forehead. I avoided his touch. "Who is she?" Levi Jiang didn't answer my question, but instead pulled me into his arms to comfort me. "An unimportant person. I'll explain it to you when we get back." "Okay." At this moment, his gentle words finally brought tears to my eyes. I stubbornly raised my head, wanting to demand an answer. If he would just say it, I would believe him. Levi Jiang let out a soft sigh, then gently wiped away the tears from the corner of my eye. "The child is mine." Tears froze on my face. As if I had forgotten how to breathe, my lips were bitten until they turned crimson. I broke free from his embrace, stepping back one step at a time. At this moment, Levi Jiang finally showed a hint of anger. Once again, he drew me close, looking at me with heartache. "Lena Shen, you can blame me, but don't torment yourself. I don't understand why, after doing such a thing, he still insists on showing me his love." In our silent standoff, the girl in the car stepped out. "Go back." Levi Jiang spoke with a cold face, devoid of any warmth. The girl timidly looked at the man but did not leave, her eyes growing more resolute. "Miss Shen, it's not what you think between me and President Jiang. This child was an accident." After speaking, she smiled bitterly. "If possible, I would want him less than anyone else." My vision was blurred, and though I couldn't clearly see the expression on the man's face, yet, familiar with him as I was, I could still sense that the initial coldness in him had long since vanished. "Enough. Stop talking." Jealousy, resentment, those emotions filled my heart, and I broke down, shouting. The girl staggered in fright, nearly falling, but was quickly caught in the man's arms. I stared blankly at the scene, a thought flashing through my mind. I rushed toward them. Just as I was about to collide with the girl's protruding belly, I was suddenly shoved away by a powerful force. I sat on the ground, lifted my scraped palm, and smiled bitterly. Levi Jiang stared in disbelief at the hand he had extended, frozen in shock. That day, Levi Jiang abandoned the 6-month pregnant girl and took me home. But I knew there was no future left for him and me. When I got home, Levi Jiang gave me an explanation. I sat on the bed, motionless for a long time, and he, standing on the balcony of my room, smoked all night. I knew he was using self-destructive behavior to make me feel sorry for him. He always knows how to find my weak spot. As dawn broke, Levi Jiang turned and walked into the house, coming to my side. "Hungry? What would you like to eat? I'll make it for you." I called out to him in a hoarse voice, "Levi Jiang, let's talk." Levi Jiang paused in his steps, not turning around for a long time. I knew he understood my personality. This kind of thing mattered to me, mattered a great deal, even though he was drunk that day. It was unintentional when he had contact with that girl. I could never forgive him. So, Levi Jiang kept this matter hidden, but no one expected that the stranger he had only met once would become pregnant, due to her unique physical constitution. She was unable to terminate the pregnancy. Thus, the current situation arose. Levi Jiang still left. He didn't dare face what I was about to say next. I know he loved me. If we didn't love each other, we wouldn't have been in a long-distance relationship for so many years. If he didn't love me, he wouldn't have spoiled me to the point where I could act spoiled and cry at the drop of a hat. For the next week, Levi Jiang didn't come back, yet he still asked the housekeeper every day, in great detail, about how I was doing. My aunt advised me, "Madam, you and your husband are the most loving couple I've ever seen. Whatever the issue is, talking it out will help, sir. He has lost a lot of weight recently. Auntie has been with our family for many years, and she has never seen me and Levi Jiang have a single argument. Even Mother Jiang, who had been dissatisfied with me in earlier years, gradually came to accept me as part of the Jiang family because Levi Jiang and I were living happily together. She slowly acknowledged me as the daughter-in-law of the Jiang family. The phone rang. It was Levi Jiang calling. Sis, brother Jiang had too much to drink. Can you come pick him up? Don't bother with him." After hanging up the phone, the frustration in my heart only grew stronger. My mind kept replaying the image of Levi Jiang's retreating figure, which seemed slightly hunched. In the end, I couldn't bring myself to leave him there alone. After a struggle, I picked up the car keys. I strode out. The private room door was slightly ajar, and I stood outside without entering. Levi Jiang was indeed heavily drunk, sprawled out with limbs stretched, leaning against the sofa without any regard for appearance. In front of him stood a girl with a swollen belly. Levi Jiang's friend seemed a bit embarrassed. "Miss Su." The sister-in-law refused to come, and brother Jiang wouldn't leave, so I had no choice but to call you here. The girl smiled faintly and lifted one of Levi Jiang's arms. Caught off guard, he was pushed away. Several exclamations jolted Levi Jiang awake from his drunken stupor. He looked at the woman before him, forcing a smile uglier than a grimace. "Ru Su, it's all because of you. Lena left me." Levi Jiang kept repeating this phrase and started looking for alcohol everywhere again. No one could stop him as he grabbed a bottle and began gulping it down desperately. Ru Su suddenly snatched the bottle from the man's hand and smashed it violently on the ground. The private room fell silent in an instant. Even Levi Jiang, who had been throwing a drunken tantrum just moments ago, was now staring at her in a daze. "Levi Jiang, your loud commotion is scaring our child. Get up, I'm tired, take me home." Levi Jiang, who practically held sway over the entire city of Jiangcheng, had never been ordered around like this by anyone except for me. Everyone thought he was angry, and no one dared to make a sound. Yet in such a tense atmosphere, Levi Jiang said nothing. He slowly stood up, picked up his clothes, and silently followed Ru Su. They left together. I hid in the corner, watching the man and woman ahead of me. Suddenly, I smiled, but there was a bitter taste in that smile. I followed their taxi to an upscale residential complex. I saw Levi Jiang get out of the car with my own eyes and follow the girl upstairs. A light turned on in the middle of the towering building. I sat in the car and watched all night, but Levi Jiang never came out. At 7 in the morning, he went back inside carrying breakfast. I watched that all too familiar figure from behind. Someone quietly left. I called Levi Jiang back but didn't mention the divorce. I looked at the man who had visibly lost weight and quickly averted my gaze. "Where did you stay last night since I didn't pick you up?" Levi Jiang's fingers trembled slightly, and after a moment, he said, "I stayed at the company." It was hard to describe the feeling in his heart, just a faint tinge of bitterness. But more than that, it's disappointment. Since when did Levi Jiang learn to lie to me? The person who once promised to be honest with me for a lifetime has now changed. I didn't expose him because, to me, it no longer matters. "How many months along is she?" Levi Jiang's voice paused for a few seconds, as if he couldn't bear to hurt me. "Almost 7 months." After speaking, he knelt on one knee before me and buried his head deeply in my lap. Tears soaked my dress. "Lena, I was wrong. Please don't leave me." In my memory, Levi Jiang had never cried before. Now, he was crying uncontrollably. Seeing him cry like that, my heart ached too, but I knew, at this moment, I couldn't afford to be soft-hearted. "Arrange a meeting for me with that girl." We chose to meet at Ru Su's home. Levi Jiang was waiting for me outside the door. Ru Su gently stroked her belly, her eyes filled with anticipation for the child. That night, the lights were off in the room, and I was truly terrified. But the next day, when I saw Mr. Jiang lying beside me, I actually felt a moment of relief. Ru Su laughed as she spoke. She looked up at me. Still with that gentle and lovely expression, "Miss Shen, now that Mr. Jiang and I are about to have a child, why don't you just let us be happy?" With Levi Jiang absent, the girl before me seemed like a completely different person. Actually, I wasn't too surprised. Because on the night I went to find Levi Jiang, Ru Su had glanced at me from behind the door. I knew she had already seen me that day. She slowly stood up and pushed open that tightly closed door. Inside is a cozy children's room. Everything in here was personally selected by President Jiang, and the room was also arranged by him. He did have expectations for this child. I really wanted to maintain my last shred of composure in front of Ru Su, who was flaunting Levi Jiang's paternal love to me, but I was still angered by her. So it turns out Levi Jiang also had expectations for this child. He wasn't indifferent after all, as if all strength had drained from my body. I braced one hand on the dining table and knocked over a water glass. With a crisp crack, it struck my heart, shattering into countless fractures. Levi Jiang heard the sound and saw me swaying unsteadily, while Ru Su lay on the ground crying out in pain. That day, I will never forget. Levi Jiang's first choice was no longer me. Ru Su flashed me a triumphant smile, convinced she had won. As Levi Jiang brushed past me, there was only a fleeting moment of hesitation. In the end, he stepped right over me and carried Ru Su to the hospital. The moment he left, Levi Jiang didn't even glance my way. I stood rooted to the spot for a long while before slowly coming to terms with the fact that he had abandoned me there. I followed them to the hospital, and by the time we arrived, Jiang's parents were already there. Turns out, I was the only one kept in the dark. They had known all along. When Jiang's mother saw me approaching, she slapped me across the face. "If anything happens to my grandson, you'll see how I settle the score with you." Levi Jiang immediately shielded me, pulling me entirely behind him. Seeing this, Mother Jiang grew even angrier. "Levi Jiang, it's fine if you usually protect her, but now she's trying to harm your own son." Levi Jiang laughed, his voice tinged with suppressed defiance. "So what? If it's gone, it's gone. If they hadn't kept this child behind his back, why would Lena be so heartbroken?" No one knew that when they saw Ru Su fall, his first reaction was actually joy. He felt some regret over this unexpected incident. The doctor came out of the ward and said the baby was saved. Mr. and Mrs. Jiang hurried inside, fussing over Ru Su with concern. Yet Ru Su kept gazing at Levi Jiang standing by the door, looking pitiful and vulnerable. She dared to scheme against me, so how could I let her have her way? I showed him my swollen and red left cheek to make him feel sorry for me, saying to Levi Jiang, "I don't want to stay here anymore." Levi Jiang was taken away by me. As I was leaving, I looked back at Ru Su lying on the hospital bed and returned her smile with the same one. At least for now, Levi Jiang still favors me, even though I no longer want this favor. During the days when Levi Jiang thought I had accepted this child, I had already begun preparing to leave. I packed up my belongings and prepared the divorce papers, just waiting for the day to leave. That's right. I'll leave on the day Ru Su gives birth. Doesn't she want me to make way for their happy family of 3? Then I'll fulfill this wish of hers. Lately, I've been feeling a vague discomfort in my lower abdomen. That day at the hospital, I originally went for a checkup, but never expected to run into them. I rescheduled my appointment and went through with the examination. The moment I got the results, I laughed until tears streamed down my face. Levi Jiang and I had been trying for a child for 5 years, but never succeeded. Now, this child seems to have come at the wrong time. Holding the pregnancy test in my hand, I walked dazedly through the hospital, unsure of how to face the little life growing inside me. I know I should have gotten rid of it, but I couldn't bear to. This decision was even harder for me than giving up Levi Jiang, until I looked up and saw Levi Jiang accompanying Ru Su, who had just finished her prenatal checkup. All these days, neither of us has mentioned Ru Su again. He took my silence as tacit approval of this matter's existence. "President Jiang, our child is very healthy. I'm so happy." Levi Jiang's voice betrayed no emotion, but the slight lift at the corners of his eyebrows revealed his good mood. You've raised him well." They were talking about children, neither noticing that I had already stopped in front of them. The moment Levi Jiang saw me, He immediately let go of Ru Su's hand and distanced himself from her. After a moment of silent tension, I was the first to speak. What a coincidence. Well, I won't keep you, I'll head off first. Levi Jiang frantically grabbed me, refusing to let me go. Lena, listen to me. Let me explain. I calmly released him, without a trace of anger. I'm not angry. This child is your responsibility. I understand. As the words fell, Ru Su's eyes suddenly lit up. Miss Shen, do you really agree to keep this child? Since we had that falling out last time, I no longer felt like giving her any pleasant expressions. Miss Su's child is due in just a few days. Would my disagreement even matter anymore? The woman immediately became anxious, her voice trembling with tears. I was forced into it. Now, saying these things is meaningless. Without letting Levi Jiang follow, I turned and went back to the doctor. Just now, someone has already made the decision for me. On the day Ru Su gave birth, Levi Jiang was called away at 4 in the morning. As he left, he whispered softly in my ear, Lena, once this child is born, can we go back to how we used to be? He knows I'm not asleep. He also knows there's an unfamiliar child between us now, unlike before. I kept my eyes tightly shut, giving him no response. Yet just as he was about to leave the room, I suddenly called out to him. I persisted in asking, Levi Jiang, between me and this child, who would you choose? Seeing his stunned and conflicted expression, I shook my head and urged him to leave. As I lay back down again, Levi Jiang softly said, I'll fix everything when I get back, but I don't need your solutions anymore, I'll handle it myself. After he left, I placed a divorce agreement and a USB drive on the bedside table. Without any farewell, I walked away from this home I once cherished so deeply. There were 2 days left before the plane took off, so I went back to my hometown. I hadn't returned since marrying Levi Jiang. The once short bungalow had been rebuilt into a 2-story house. Standing out brightly among the surrounding buildings, someone with sharp eyes spotted me and pointed, shouting, the eldest daughter of the Shen family who married into a life of luxury is back. In less than a minute, I was surrounded by a crowd. My parents came out of the house, and their smiles froze when they saw my empty hands. They forced smiles as they welcomed me inside. The moment the door closed, my mother pinched my waist hard. You ungrateful brat, coming back without even bringing us anything. We've raised you for nothing. I'm divorced. Levi Jiang won't be giving you any more money from now on. The whole family reacted as if facing a great enemy, their expressions changing instantly. Look, these parents and siblings who live off selling their daughter, this is my family. When they learned that I had left with nothing, not a single penny to my name. The entire family heartlessly drove me out. Standing outside the locked gate, I felt no sorrow. In the face of this family, I should express my gratitude to Levi Jiang, who shielded me from the storm. He gave me 5 peaceful years to live, but since we've parted ways, I don't want them to disturb his new life anymore. After resolving this trouble, I boarded the plane without any lingering attachments. I left the city where I had lived for many years, all alone. Ru Su gave birth to an 8-pound baby boy, and Levi Jiang now has a son. At this moment, I was lost in deep memories on the plane, thinking back to when I first got together with Levi Jiang. That year, my family told me that Grandpa was sick and needed medicine. They had no money, and if I didn't provide it, they wouldn't treat Grandpa. At that time, I transferred all the money I had saved to them, not even leaving enough for a meal, before the next paycheck came. I survived on instant noodles for a whole month. Later, Levi Jiang found out about it. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, he had never experienced a day of financial hardship. His eyes reddened, and he asked me in a hoarse voice, "Why didn't you tell me?" Without giving me a chance to answer, he pulled me into a tight embrace, his tone filled with heartache for me. "Don't forget, you still have me." That day, I met the first person in over 20 years who made me feel I could rely on. In the 5 years of marriage, Levi Jiang never broke his word. Ever since Grandpa passed away, he has kept all those troublesome people in the family away from me. Was Levi Jiang good to me? My answer is, very good. At least before this incident with Ru Su, he was a very, very good husband. But in life, love alone isn't enough to last a lifetime. Even if I don't leave this time, That child will still remain a thorn in my heart, stabbed in the heart for too long. It will eventually rot beyond recognition. I want our beautiful memories to stay right here, to remain in this moment when we still love each other." After the plane landed, I looked up at the azure sky. From then on, it was just him and me, vast skies and open seas, each to our own peace. The moment the child was born, Levi Jiang felt a fleeting moment of joy. That was the child he had hoped for, his own flesh and blood, his son, so in a joyful mood. He condescendingly spent a night at the hospital with Ru Su. That night, he didn't return home. He wanted to arrange everything for Ru Su and her child, then cut off all contact with them in the future. He and Lina Shen could then return to their previous loving relationship. But Lina Shen didn't wait for him. She disappeared alone. When the aunt came to the hospital looking for him, Levi Jiang was carefully holding his child. At the moment he heard Lina Shen had left, Levi Jiang didn't get up to look for her. He simply closed his eyes deeply, because he knew that this time, Lina Shen would not forgive him. The divorce agreement on the bedside table in the bedroom was not signed by Levi Jiang. He had watched the video in the USB drive. These two things together mocked his foolish actions back then. At the end of the video, there was a recording from Lina Shen to him. After hearing it, Levi Jiang burst into tears. He knew he was wrong, terribly wrong. It turned out Lina Shen knew everything. "Levi, after all these years of marriage, not being able to give the Jiang family a child is my responsibility. I know you really want a child of your own. No matter what reason you had for keeping this child in the first place, it doesn't matter anymore. Let's part on good terms." Lina Shen saw through the calculations in his heart. He wanted to keep this child. For someone as self-centered as him, he only cares about people who are important to him. What are others compared to him? If he hadn't wanted it, this child would never have had the chance to be born. It was his tacit approval that allowed Jiang's parents to let Ru Su's pregnancy progress. It was his genuine joy that gave Ru Su the opportunity to wound the one he loved. Levi Jiang wanted to have the best of both worlds. But in the end, he lost the person he cherished the most. "Levi Jiang, the child is already born. What are you trying to pull now?" Mother Jiang was furious as she watched Levi Jiang prepare to give away her newborn grandson, her anger reaching its peak. "Without this child, Lina will forgive me." Levi Jiang had now made up his mind. He didn't want this child for even a second longer. He had already found a family to take the child in. With enough money given, they wouldn't mistreat him. Seeing Levi Jiang's stubbornness, Mother Jiang pleaded in tears, "Levi, this is your own flesh and blood. How can you bear to abandon him? Mom knows you're heartbroken because Lina Shen divorced you, but no matter what you do, she won't come back. To me, no one is more important than Lina. Mom, I regret it now." Levi Jiang's heart trembled. Swallowing the bitterness, he resolutely took away the 1-month-old baby. This incident caused quite a stir in their circle. It was talked about for a long time. Some said Levi Jiang was too ruthless, while others claimed he was too devoted. In any case, the Jiang family became a complete laughingstock. After half a year, Levi Jiang found out my address. When he wanted to come see me, his cousin Jiu Ran stopped him. His cousin was my senior in college, and this time abroad, I relied entirely on her care. "Brother, don't come," Lina said. "If you come, she'll leave. We all saw how much you loved Lina back then. How could you be so confused about this matter?" Faced with his cousin's questioning, Levi Jiang couldn't utter a single word. Time wouldn't give him another chance to start over. After a long silence, Levi Jiang asked in a low voice, "How is she?" "She's doing well, eating and sleeping normally, and has even gained some weight." Levi Jiang forced a bitter smile, revealing his sharp chin. "That's good. Take care of her." After hanging up the phone, Levi Jiang's joy of having found what was lost began to slowly spread. He laughed heartily in the dimly lit house. "It's great to have found her." On the other end, Jiu Ran put down her phone in annoyance, cursing under her breath. Amused, I looked at the woman who still hadn't calmed down and tried to console her. "I don't even care anymore. Why are you still angry? How can it be the same? You and my brother were so deeply in love back then. How did it come to this?" Everyone who knows about my breakup with Levi Jiang feels sorry for us. But when fate runs its course, the relationship just can't continue. Jiyu Ran is my best friend, and there are some things only she can ask me. She fixed her gaze on my belly. Lena, what are your plans for this child? Aren't you going to let my brother know? I caressed the child that belonged to me alone, tenderness filling my eyes. I didn't abort the child back then. At the very last moment, I changed my mind. I had already lost my family, lost Levi Jiang, and I didn't want to spend the rest of my life all alone. He doesn't have a father, only a mother. A month later, I gave birth to a girl, and I had the person I cherish most in this world. I worked while raising my daughter, living a happy and fulfilling life. Initially, I joined Jiyu Ran's company with technical shares, and now the company is thriving. I have the capability to provide my daughter with a prosperous life. Before I knew it, my daughter turned 5. Under Jiyu Ran's threat, Levi Jiang didn't dare to come looking for me. However, every month he would ask Jiyu Ran about how I was doing. Jiyu Ran asked me, should she tell him? I nodded. There was nothing I couldn't say except for the existence of my daughter. Due to the company's business relocation, Jiyu Ran's company was moving back to China. This time, she was going back to get married. Naturally, I would also return with her to attend her wedding. Because my daughter developed late, she is smaller than children her age and doesn't resemble Levi Jiang at all. Moreover, he already has a son. As for the daughter, it probably doesn't matter to him anymore. On the day of returning to the country, Jiyu Ran had urgent work, so she asked her boyfriend to bring us back first. The plane landed, and Levi Jiang was waiting outside to pick me up. Since Jiyu Ran often came to my place for meals, her boyfriend was also very familiar with us. Holding my daughter's hand, he made Levi Jiang misunderstand. A wave of pain surged in Levi Jiang's chest, and it felt like something was stuck in his throat, making it hard for him to breathe. Seeing us approach, he mustered all his strength to utter just a few words. You're back. I gave a soft millimeter in response, saying nothing more. Time had washed away those feelings of love long ago. The moment I saw Levi Jiang today, I knew I had moved on from the past. As we left the airport, Levi Jiang offered to give me a ride. Jiyu Ran's boyfriend knew Levi Jiang might have misunderstood our relationship but didn't explain. Instead, he declined with a smile. No need to trouble yourself, we have a car. After getting in the car, Levi Jiang still stood there, watching the direction the car had gone. My daughter asked me, Mom, who is that strange uncle? He looks like he's about to cry. Do grown-ups cry too? I gently stroked my daughter's soft hair, not turning to look. Uncle is Mommy's friend. Maybe the wind blew something into his eyes. Not long after, Jiyu Ran called me, saying Levi Jiang had asked about her daughter. As we agreed, say that my daughter is my adopted child. Levi Jiang believed it. Jiyu Ran came back a few days after us and immediately got busy preparing for the wedding. Upon returning, many company matters were handed over to me. After spending a few days playing with my daughter, I started to get busy with work every day. I don't know how Levi Jiang found out my address, but his car has been frequently parked downstairs these days. It stays there all night. I pretended not to notice and ignored it. A person who is almost a stranger no longer has any effect on me. On the day of Jiyu Ran's wedding, I brought my daughter to attend and ran into Levi Jiang and his parents. Jiyu Ran is Levi Jiang's cousin, and many people in their circle know me. Seeing me with a child, those people whispered among themselves. Levi Jiang intentionally shielded me from the scrutinizing gazes, while also blocking the resentful looks from Mother Jiang. Those who had conflicts with Mother Jiang naturally wouldn't let this opportunity slip by. Someone asked me, Xiao Xin, could this child possibly be from the Jiang family? Mrs. Jiang now has both grandsons and granddaughters. What immense fortune that is. I don't care how they see me or what they say about me, but I can't tolerate them speaking ill of my daughter. I smiled at the woman whose face was covered in wrinkles, though she was clearly a year younger than Mrs. Jiang. You're the truly fortunate one, with a house full of sons and grandsons. The woman's husband's 7th son had just been recognized and brought back from outside, barely 10 years old. The woman awkwardly shut her mouth. After this incident, I became somewhat worried that my daughter might be recognized by them, so throughout the entire time, I deliberately shielded my daughter from the Jiang family's view. I planned to leave early with my daughter after the process ended, but unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, I lost sight of her. When I looked again, my daughter had already run up to Mrs. Jiang, lifting her little chin. "Grandma, you're not allowed to keep glaring at my mom." Jiang's mother froze for a long moment, disbelief flashing across her face. Her hand trembled as she reached out to touch my daughter's face. "Tell Grandma, how old are you?" My daughter held up 4 fingers and said exactly as I had taught her. "I'm 4 years old this year." Mother Jiang's eyes instantly dimmed, murmuring under her breath, "So alike, truly so alike." The little girl before her looked exactly like she did in her childhood. My heart was pounding wildly. Mrs. Jiang's expression was clearly abnormal, and I feared she might notice something. I hurried to my daughter's side, wanting to take her away. Just then, a little boy of about 5 or 6 suddenly shouted, "Liar, didn't you just tell me you were 5 years old?" My daughter looked up at me, her face turning bright red with a hint of embarrassment. "Mom, I forgot just now." I closed my eyes for a moment, having no choice but to accept reality. Fortunately, Levi Jiang still has a son, and Mr. and Mrs. Jiang still have a grandson. No one can take my daughter away from me. During this time, Ji Ran was pulled aside to explain the truth, and she glanced at me. I nodded at her. After the wedding, my daughter and I followed Jiang's parents back to the old Jiang family residence. In the car, Mother Jiang held my daughter tightly, overjoyed. Father Jiang also showed a rare smile on his face. Levi Jiang, who entered the house last, was the happiest. His gaze never left our daughter. Only after our daughter was taken out to play by the aunt did I finally speak. "She is mine alone, and I will never hand her over to you." Seeing my resolute attitude, Mother Jiang also became assertive. "She is the granddaughter of our Jiang family. I can't let you take her away. Name your price, just tell me how much you want." Since there was no point in continuing the discussion, I picked up my bag and left, but was stopped at the door by Levi Jiang. "You've raised our daughter well." My mother's opinion doesn't count. At this moment, I could sense Levi Jiang was extremely excited. He seemed several times gentler than usual. Still, regardless of the reason, hearing him say such words softened my attitude toward him a little. "You already have a son, and you already have grandchildren, so why must you still fight me for my daughter?" But after I said these words, the expressions of Levi Jiang and his parents all changed. Levi Jiang's face became very indifferent. So indifferent it was as if he was talking about something unrelated to him. As for his parents, their faces showed a hint of disdain. I almost doubted my own eyes. After all, that was the grandson they had longed for so dearly. That evening, Ji Ran gave me the answer to this question. It turned out that after I left, Levi Jiang had given away the child Ru Su gave birth to. At the age of 4, the child was found by Mr. and Mrs. Jiang and brought back to the Jiang family. Levi Jiang stubbornly refused to acknowledge the child, a son unrecognized by his father, who to this day has not reclaimed the Jiang surname, because he wasn't raised by their side, and because many of his habits displeased Mr. and Mrs. Jiang, and because of him, their son Levi Jiang no longer returns to the Jiang family's ancestral home. Gradually, they also distanced themselves from the child quite a bit. Now, that child locks themselves in their room every day, avoiding people and becoming very withdrawn. What about Ru Su? Doesn't she care at all? On the other end of the phone, Ji Ran lowered her voice, as if afraid someone might overhear. "I heard that my brother was set up by that woman Ru Su back then. She put something in his drink." According to Ji Ran, Levi Jiang became suspicious after watching the video I gave him. The video was recorded that day at Ru Su's house. After learning what kind of person Ru Su is, how could I possibly go to see her unprepared? It wasn't long before he actually found the evidence. Levi Jiang showed no mercy and sent Ru Su to prison. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sigh, never expecting the matter to end like this. It's just a pity for the child Ru Su gave birth to. Since learning that we have a daughter together, Levi Jiang has been thinking about getting back together. Jiang's parents are also very supportive, as this way they can always see their granddaughter. Levi Jiang pulled out all the stops he used when he was pursuing me, coming up with all sorts of tricks. I avoided him every day. Seeing me like this, Gu Ran suggested that maybe I should just go back. I also had the idea, but when I discussed it with my daughter, although she agreed, I could see her hesitation. I didn't say anything, just quietly waited for her to express her true thoughts. Mom, I like it here. Can we not go back? I asked my daughter. Do you like that uncle who's always downstairs at our place? My daughter is very smart and sensible. She has never asked me who her father is. Is he my dad? A sparkle danced in my daughter's eyes as I replied, yes, he is your father. If it makes my daughter happy, then not going back is fine. I still have ways to deal with the persistent Levi Jiang. I arranged to meet Levi Jiang, wanting to talk things out with him. He turned me down 3 times before finally showing up. We know each other too well. If I hadn't asked him out alone, there might still have been room for reconciliation between us. But now, he knows there's absolutely no possibility left between us. Not even for the sake of our child, can we get back together? Levi Jiang asked so humbly that it only angered me further. Levi Jiang, I am first and foremost a human being, and only then a mother. I would do anything for my daughter, provided it is of my own free will. Over the years, I have rarely thought about my past with Levi Jiang. As for his history with Rusu, I have never once recalled it. But today, to make Levi Jiang give up, I tore open the long-healed scar, exposing the untouchable pain beneath. Stirring the coffee in my hand, I asked in a very calm voice, Levi Jiang, I remember you never drink alcohol offered by strangers when you're out. I looked up and stared at him. But that day, why did you drink the cup Rusu gave you? Levi Jiang's hand suddenly clenched, his lips trembling involuntarily. After a long silence, Levi Jiang closed his eyes in despair. That night, you fell for Rusu. That was the fact I least wanted to face. The night he explained it to me, there were women outside who wanted to get close to him, but none had ever succeeded, even if it was just a fleeting moment of temptation. It still existed. That's why he gave Rusu the opportunity to take advantage. Levi Jiang actually knew the reason himself, he just didn't want to admit it. When leaving, Levi Jiang cried in front of me once again, but I would never cry for him again.